Welcome to Fett's Legacy, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about episode 4 of The Bad Batch Season 2, and we're going to be talking about The Bad Batch as a whole, and some of my issues with the show, and what we could see in the future. So guys, before we get into that, I just want to say a quick thank you for supporting the channel. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. But guys, let's get straight into it. So guys, in episode 4 of The Bad Batch Season 2, we see Tech, Wrecker, and Omega go with Cid to this planet to do some racing of some sort. She has a racer named Teo. He's actually a pretty funny robot. Thought he was really well done. And we see that she is going up against a crime lord named Melegi. And it shows that, Cid has somewhat of a dark past, which we will talk about a little bit later on. So in this episode, they have a race. It's, meant to bring some feelings back of pod racing. Obviously, it's not a pod, so, it's not the exact same, but it's still meant to have that same kind of feeling of racing and adrenaline and Fast and Furious kind of stuff. And, it was really cool to see. I liked Teo. I liked the characters that we got. We were missing Hunter and Echo. There was no Crosshair. There's no Cody. There's no Rex, but Wrecker, Tech, and Omega are still pretty good. And so we get them doing their thing. Tech ends up racing for the robot, Teo, and he does really well. He's super smart. And, I thought it was a fun episode, but I'm sure all of you, just like me, felt like it was a bit of a filler episode and really didn't have much meaning. Now, what could come back in the future is maybe Melegi comes back somehow with Cid and something goes down there. We do see at the end, Melegi tells the clones and Omega that Cid's loyalty does not go both ways, and they are loyal to her, but she may not be so loyal to them. Maybe we will see Cid betray the clones in the future somehow if the Empire comes knocking, if a bounty hunter shows up, whether that's Boba Fett or Bosk or Cad Bane, we already know was involved last season, and he could definitely show up again. That would be really cool. Maybe she will betray them and not really stick around, not show her loyalty to them, or maybe she's changing and will show her loyalty to the clones for everything that they've done for her, especially after this. I think she should be loyal to them and should be on their side. Tech pretty much single-handedly saved Cid this episode, and it was really cool to see some of the maneuvers he pulled, going through the track that you're not supposed to go on, just kind of like Anakin with the pod. It was really cool, but it did feel kind of like filler, and I do feel like some of the moments that may play out later on aren't really that important. And so I just wanted to talk about the Clone Wars for a second here, and I know comparing the Bad Batch to the Clone Wars is a little bit unfair, but they are shows based on clones, they are animated, similar style, made by Dave Filoni, and they're both pretty good. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Bad Batch. It's a really good show. I'm enjoying it. I'm waiting to see, hopefully, Boba Fett, Rex, and a few other things show up later in the season, and I really enjoyed some of the episodes so far, especially the one with Cody and Crosshair. But it goes back to the Clone Wars having multiple episode story arcs, which I felt was really good and really well played. Now, I know I've mentioned a few times on this channel that my favorite Clone Wars arc is the Umbara arc, where they take on Pong Krell, who turns against the Jedi and uses the clones against each other. I thought that was a really well-made arc, but there are many other arcs. There's the Holocron hunt with Cad Bane and the Senators, which was really well done. Count Dooku's involved. We get the second Battle of Geonosis. That's a 5-episode arc. Crisis of Mandalore. With the Clone Wars, they had longer episode arcs that would go on for 3, 4, 5 episodes sometimes, and I felt it really helped flesh out the story, and it was really well done, and kind of kept you wanting to come back for every episode, and it didn't make me feel empty at the end of the episode because I know it's going to continue for the next one and the next one. Maybe it's a bit different as, I ended up rewatching Clone Wars and binge watching it all. I didn't get every single episode every week sometimes, and, it was definitely different for me on the rewatch, as it's building up to something, but I just feel like with these episodes in The Bad Batch, it's like a one and done episode, and it happens too often. I felt this, even with the last episode, I thought it was an incredible episode. Cody going AWOL with the Empire. We see Crosshair kind of having a change of heart. Really cool. They're fighting the droids again. And I just thought it was a really fantastic episode. But I feel like if something like that were to happen in the Clone Wars, it would maybe be 2 or 3 episodes, drawn out a bit more, and in a good way. Not to increase runtime, but to actually give more meaning to things and flesh out some of the characters more, flesh out some of their emotions. You know, I liked seeing Cody defect, but it just felt like one moment he's leading a squadron and he's all for it, and, you know, he's a commander, and then out of nowhere, you know, by the end of the episode, I know some pretty crazy stuff happens, but already he's defected and he's left the Empire. And I felt like it would have been nice to see Cody a little bit more and show a few more reasons why he's becoming disillusioned with the Empire. Just kind of like Dooku with the Tales of the Jedi. How I think 3 episodes were meant for him, and they all showed different reasons why he was getting disillusioned with the Jedi and why he became a Sith in the end and joined Palpatine. I feel like the Bad Batch could use a little bit more planning and a few more episodes for some of the different arcs that could actually really build upon each other and actually end up somewhere that means a lot more than, you know, obviously Cody defecting means a lot, but it would have been different if we saw him for a few episodes carrying out some acts that, you know, maybe he didn't really sit right with him. We had one thing that happened and then he's just gone. You know, and I'm sure there's been other things that have happened that Cody didn't like and kind of went against his values, but we just see him defect after that one thing, and it just felt like there could have been more. And then we see this episode, which just feels like filler, and I just feel like, why couldn't they have made the last episode stretch on for 2 episodes and make this, you know, a part of another episode? Because it really didn't have to be its own episode. It went on for a long time, and I just felt like, you know, maybe they put a little bit too much into it just for one episode, just for, really, there's no real payoff at the end. They end up exactly where they are. You know, maybe Teo is done, the robot that we didn't even know, we don't really care about, but really nothing really happened at the end of this episode, nothing changed, and we're just going to wait for the next one, and that's kind of how I felt at the end of this episode, just kind of hoping that we could have some longer story arcs with the Bad Batch. Now, like I said, this could pay off in a later episode, with Cid possibly betraying the Bad Batch as a bounty hunter shows up or the Empire shows up, but we will have to wait and see for that. I don't think it's going to be in the next episode that anything like that happens, so we'll definitely see maybe towards the end of the season something like that will happen. So we'll just have to wait and see. I know that we will see probably Cody again, and we'll see Rex, and maybe they'll link up for a little bit and have a discussion, and, you know, maybe Cid will be involved, and I'm sure some of these things will play out in the future, but it's not really like a continued story arc as much as like setting up things that might happen in the future. So, you know, we'll probably see Cody again. I hope we do. I thought his episode was really fantastic, but I just feel like we could get some longer story arcs, maybe a 3-4 episode arc of the Bad Batch doing something, and I hope we do get something like that later on with Cody and Rex and Boba Fett, because I feel like even last season, you know, we saw Rex for an episode, I'm pretty sure, and then he was gone, and, you know, now we saw Cody for an episode and he's gone, and I would just like to see some more continued storytelling. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of the Bad Batch Season 2 so far. I think it's been pretty good. I thought the last episode was a bit of a filler episode, but I still think overall it's been a pretty good season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.